Netflix's popular I Am a Killer documentary series has returned for its 5th season with more intriguing murder stories told by the murderers themselves. The I Am a Killer franchise is unique in that the documentary makers allow the killers to tell their side of the story, before examining the case through the eyes of the families of both the perpetrator and the victim, but also the law enforcement officials who worked the case. Finally, they revisit the prisoner in jail and confront them with any story disparities in their version of events. In I Am a Killer, Season 5, Episode 2, Lost Innocence, we meet Christian Sims and Ashley Morrison. In December 2014, Christian Sims, then 16, shot and killed Annie Lois Sims, his grandmother, at her house in Paris, Texas. His then-girlfriend, Ashley Morrison, who was 17, wasn't present at the crime but agreed that Sims had told her what he was about to do, and after the event, they escaped together in her car. Both were arrested soon after at a motel in Sapulpa, Oklahoma. Sims pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 35 years, while Morrison challenged her conviction and was sent away for 30 years, according to sportsguida.com. Anthony Trent Barbour abused Christian Sims as a child. Sims' mother was unable to keep him safe. In Lost Innocence, it suggested that Sims's entire childhood was characterized by abuse. His mother, Lisa Hurst, was addicted to drink and drugs and was unable to look after him after a history of strained relationships with a string of men who would abuse both her and her children. One such individual Sims named was Anthony Trent Barbour. Barbour's relationship with Sims's mother is barely covered in the documentary, although Sims himself suggests it dominated his early childhood. Sims was eventually removed from his mother's care and sent to live with his grandmother, Annie Lois Sims, the woman he would ultimately admit to killing. To all outward appearances, Sims was well treated by his grandparents and began doing well at school, playing the clarinet and fitting in. It was in clarinet lessons that he met Ashley Morrison and they began a relationship. He could not, however, escape the psychological scars visited upon him by Barbour, which, he later claimed, were the root cause of the murder. Why Christian Sims blames Barbour for his crime against Annie Lois Sims. Barbour's awful abuse was revealed in court. I Am a Killer Sims Morrison. Barbour went to prison for his treatment of Sims, but later unsuccessfully appealed the conviction. Per casetext.com, the judge's opinion pulls no punches and details the abuse Sims suffered. It notes that at 9 years old, Sims was unresponsive at home, while in Barbour's care, and found to be covered with excessive fresh and older bruising. There was also bruising above the rectum, right above the penis and scrotum. Pediatrician Ed Clark said the damage was beyond spanking. Toxicity reports showed the boy had also been given fentanyl, which is a very potent opioid, and morphine, and was in critical condition. When questioned, Barbour insisted Sims had fallen while doing cartwheels, but when the 9-year-old eventually came round, nurses noted that Barbour's presence, his blood pressure would go up 20 points. Later, at Barbour's trial, Sims testified Barbour was swinging me around by my ankles and threw me into a coffee table and would beat him with extension cords, belts, tree branches, or a wooden spoon. Sims also revealed that Barbour would put clothespins on my private, and would hit him in his private parts. It was the trauma from those events, claimed 16-year-old Sims, that led him to kill. Where I Am a Killer's Anthony Trent Barbour is today. Barbour was imprisoned for 20 years. I Am a Killer Season 4 details left out missing. The state prosecuted Anthony Trent Barbour on 2 counts of injury to a child, and he was convicted and sentenced in 2010 to 20 years imprisonment. He appealed the conviction twice, once in 2010 and again in 2014, both of which were unsuccessful. He was incarcerated within the Texas penal system, but since the second appeal, all records of him have disappeared. Christian Sims is detained at the O.L. Luther unit in Navasota, Texas. His parole is set for 2032. Ashley Morrison remains incarcerated in the William P. Hobby unit in Texas and is eligible for parole in 2029. In I Am a Killer, Season 5, Episode 2, Lost Innocence, Sims belatedly suggests that while Barbour was his principal abuser, he also suffered sexual abuse at the hands of his grandmother and that her murder was partly motivated by that abuse. Prosecutors in the documentary are perplexed that this revelation was not offered at his original trial.